The NBA playoffs are only 3 days away, and a lot of people have been asking me who I think is going to win the NBA finals. Now, if you've been around my channel, you probably know who I'm going to say, but I feel like I should give a little bit more clarity. Because as a Phoenix Suns fan, a lot of people think I just have bias towards this team and I'm not looking at other aspects of their team. So in this video, I want to talk about why the Phoenix Suns are going to win the NBA finals. Now, a lot of you probably know that I've covered this team for a majority of the season, and obviously I've mentioned a lot of points in a lot of videos. So I could tell you why the Phoenix Suns are going to win the NBA finals, but this would be a pretty normal thing. However, if I'm going to make a video talking about the best team, then I want this to be my best video. So I enlisted the help of someone, and you could say he's a cult leader.
No, they're ignorant. That's ignorant.
Before I get into my points, I just want to say thanks, Spex, for having me on. I appreciate it. If you don't know me, my name is Kamal. I run a small cult called Ignorance in Basketball. It may look like a YouTube channel, but it is a cult. And my cult and I have a lot of emotions riding on these playoffs. We need a Suns win. We cannot stand for another finals loss. I don't care if it's a first round exit. It just can't be an exit. We need to see the Phoenix Suns holding the trophy, or you will see grown men and women tears. Either way, there will be tears, but let's make them happy tears, yeah? So here are my top 4 reasons of why the Suns should win the chip this year. Now, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't have a crystal ball yet. I'm working on it, but they definitely should win. Number 1 reason is their top 3 in offense and defense. Now, anybody who knows anything about basketball knows that the team that usually wins the championship is top 5 in both. This year, there's only 2 teams that are top 5, Suns and the Grizzlies. I mean, people talk about the Bucks, but they're not even top 10 in both, disrespect meant, even though I do think they're going to be a lot better in the playoffs than they have been in the regular season. And you know what? You won a chip last year, so you've earned that, I guess. Number 2 is roster versatility. Now, I don't like to give the Warriors credit for anything, but they were the first team that I noticed, at least, that had a bunch of versatile wings. They were the first team that was really good at going small. So it's important to be able to expose your opponent's weaknesses, and the more ways you can play, you know, the easier that'll be to do. So the fact that the Suns have 4 legit starting wings with Cam, Crowder, Mikal, and Torrey Craig. They can play big, they can play small. You could even play DA at the 4 and put JaVale at the 5 if you got to go against a team like the Bucks. Like, they have a lot of different ways of playing. So that's always been a huge thing to me. Number 3 is clutch numbers. Now, obviously, the regular season is important, but in my so humble opinion, you can't really tell that much from, you know, like, oh my god, when the Suns and Warriors played, they split, so they're even. It's like, no, you don't know which team was coming off of a back-to-back, which teams were healthy. Like, there's so many little things that could kind of steer you wrong with that. So the thing that I always look at is clutch numbers, because I always remember that OKC team that blew that 3-1 lead to Golden State, and they were the worst team with finishing in the clutch. So when it came down to the playoffs and things got tight, I was not surprised to see them choke, and it was kind of funny at the time. Now, I didn't know it was going to lead to Kevin Durant going to the Warriors, but that's a conversation for another day. So the fact that the Suns are like 49 or 50 or whatever in clutch games is huge to me. So that tells me that when both teams really want to win, the Suns have continued to just out-execute the other team. So, you know, it doesn't tell you everything, but I think it says a lot. And last but certainly not least is consistency. It's like, oh my god, the Philadelphia 76ers, their first 5 games, they've been amazing. But now if you go on ESPN or Fox or whatever, everybody knows that the Sixers are going to choke. The fact that the Suns have been the best team throughout the entire season tells me a lot, because no other team has really ever been close. Like, the Heat had a little run, and then, you know, then they fall off. The Bucks are hot for a little bit, then they fall off. The Grizzlies, you know, with injury stuff. So people don't even know. DA's missed like 20-something games. Chris Paul's missed like 20 games. Booker's probably missed like 10, 15 games. So the fact that they just continue to find ways to win, no matter who they're playing, no matter who they have on the floor, tells me a lot. So with that being said, I really hope the Suns win, or I don't know what I'm going to do. I can't see myself doing this again, so this may be the end of the channel. Devin, if you're listening, just know that there's a lot of people who are emotionally invested, and do your best. You know, that's all I can say. So that's it, Spex. I appreciate you for having me, And back to you.
As Ignorance in Basketball made a lot of good points on why this team is going to win the NBA Finals, it's scary to think that there are so many more things about this team that he didn't even touch up on. First off, I think we need to address the fact that Devin Booker is playing like the NBA MVP, and in my opinion, he's the MVP that's not going to win MVP. He 1000% meets the criteria. He has the skill, but unfortunately with Jokic and Giannis and Embiid having these really amazing seasons, it's very unlikely that Devin Booker is going to win the MVP despite, like I said, him playing like it. Similar to Chris Paul, he can take over the game when he needs to, score will, and do a lot of other things like facilitating the ball and even being somewhat of a playmaker. He is special talent that you do not want to miss out on when it comes to watching him in the playoffs. He was special last year, and he was definitely one of the reasons why Phoenix made it so far, which transitions me into my next topic. Last year, the Phoenix Suns had one of the best teams in the NBA, you could say, when it comes to roster. However, they did have their flaws. And that one flaw got exposed in the NBA Finals when they were playing a team that has arguably the most dominant big man of our decade. Giannis ran through the Phoenix Suns, and I expected that to happen. However, he was really able to take over the game, so it really didn't shock me. Phoenix's depth at the center position was very lackluster, and even with Dario Saric tearing his ACL, I don't think that would have been the defining factor. I love Dario Saric, and I think he definitely would have helped out on some depth. I still think Giannis would have dominated like the way he did in that series. And as Ignorance in Basketball mentioned earlier with the roster versatility, we improved on our one weakness. I mean, you signed JaVale McGee, you got Bismack Biyombo, you literally got a fucking tight end in Isaiah Wainwright. If the Phoenix Suns were able to meet up with the Milwaukee Bucks in the NBA Finals again, I would be a lot more confident than I was last year because this team improved on their one weakness, and now their weaknesses are very vague and I guess normal. And I mean, I'm being vague about it because I really can't tell you a weakness that they have. A good 80% of the games that they lost, they could have easily won, or they just had little to no value. Now, the Phoenix Suns aren't perfect. They're not going to go 16-0 in the playoffs. They're not going to play every single game the perfect way like they want to, but it's a 7-game series, so if you can dominate for a majority of the games, then you're going to be just fine. And finally, we have my main point, and it's pretty simple, but again, Phoenix is back for revenge. After making the NBA Finals, they were seen as a fraud of a team and that they weren't actually that good like they were labeled to be. We said the Suns and Bucks only made the NBA Finals due to injuries. However, if we look at one season later, there's an opportunity they're going to meet in the playoffs once again. Phoenix wants to prove that they're the best team in the NBA right now. Everyone wants to beat this team, and I can completely understand that. And it would not surprise me if Phoenix comes out on top and wins the NBA Finals. They have the assets, they have the pride, they have a win-all mentality. They don't want to just make it to the NBA Finals again. They don't want, oh, just the one seed. They want to win the entire thing. A lot of teams in the NBA have a bunch of bandwagon fans that are expecting this team to do well, but they really don't care about this team as much as we do. Not only from a basketball standpoint, the Phoenix Suns dominate easily, they have a whole cult rallying around them, and we're gonna be here when they win the whole thing. So for everyone asking me who I think is gonna win the NBA Finals, if you can't tell, I got the Suns winning the whole goddamn thing.